Hey everybody, my name is Demolo Guindepe and I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Civic Eagle. Welcome to another Lunch and Learn. Today I'm going to go over how to make a bill yours. So we're going to talk about four things. We're going to talk about tracking a bill. We're going to talk about tagging a bill. We're going to talk about giving a bill a short name. And we're going to talk about how to mark up the bill or take a note. All right, so those are the four things we're going to go over today. And I've already kind of set the stage for everybody. So we're looking at Minnesota bills. We've already kind of used a search criteria, looking for sports and gambling bills. That's what you see here. And I've got 4 results for sports gambling bills in the current sessions in Minnesota. And I've identified a bill here, Senate File 1894, that I find to be interesting and I want to learn more information about. All right, so let's go ahead. We've set the stage and let's do that very first thing. Let's track the bill. Remember, we're trying to make this bill ours. And the first step to doing that most of the time is going to be tracking the bill so we can monitor its progress through the legislative process. All right, so let's go ahead and track this bill on the far right. I've got the track button. I'm going to click on track and I'm going to track it just for myself. The other options that I see below are teams that I've created within Enview. And I could share this bill with those teams so that they're also notified. The team members on those teams are also notified about updates to this bill. I'm not going to do that today. I only want to track this bill for myself. By tracking the bill, I'm going to get email updates as that bill moves through the legislative process, going from committee to committee. Any actions taken on that bill, I'm going to receive a notification through my email, and I'm going to stay on top of that bill. So I'm going to go ahead and click track. Now I've let the system know, alert me whenever something is happening to this bill. Cool. That's number 1, tracking the bill. Let's talk about tagging the bill. Right. So tagging the bill is essentially labeling the bill. It's saying that this bill has this some sort of label associated with it, or I'm labeling it in some sort of way so that I can easily go and find all of the bills that I've tagged or labeled is another way to look at it. In this specific category. So I've already created a tag called gambling/betting. And I want to tag this bill as a gambling/betting bill. Remember, tagging is different than tracking. Tracking, I'm letting the system know that anytime something happens to the bill, send me an email notification, alert me. With tagging is letting the system know that, hey, I want to kind of categorize this bill so that I can easily find all bills that I've tagged, that I've used this tag on, regardless of whether or not I'm tracking it. Cool. So let's go ahead and tag this bill, gambling and betting. To do that, you'll see a little tag icon in the bill card. I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to select gambling/betting. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the gambling/betting tag. I'm going to close that window. And now I can see that this bill has been tagged gambling/betting. All right, so now we've done 2 things. We've tracked the bill and we've tagged the bill gambling/betting. Remember, those 2 things are different. Tracking the bill is letting the system know, hey, email me whenever something happens to the bill. Tagging the bill is essentially labeling it and making it easy for me to find all bills that have been labeled by me, gambling and betting. Cool. Now let's go ahead and go into the bill. We're going to do 2 more things. We're going to talk about giving the bill a short name, and we're going to talk about taking a note or marking up the bill text itself. So to go into the bill and to get into the bill details, I'm going to click on Senate File 1894. I'm going to click on the actual bill number, and it's going to launch me into the bill details. All right. Now, we're not going to talk about everything that you see on the screen right now. Remember, we're focusing our attention on this Lunch and Learn on making the bill yours. So there's 2 places here that I want to go over about how to make this bill yours, giving it a short name, which I'll explain shortly, no pun intended, and taking a note or marking up the bill. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and give the bill a short name. We added this feature into Enview because like you, we have policy professional backgrounds and we don't remember every single bill being, Senate File 1894. We don't remember all of the bill numbers. What we do remember are the nicknames or the short names we give to the bill, the shorthand, to be able to remember and reference it amongst our colleagues. You can do that in Enview. So you'll see where that tracking button is, that there is a drop-down caret. All you need to do is click on that drop-down caret. And you'll see the fourth option is bill short name with the little writing icon. Anytime you see that pencil writing icon, that means that you can create text yourself. You can write something in that field. All right, so this writing icon is letting me know that I can give this bill a short name or a nickname, however you want to look at it. I'm going to click there. I'm going to call this the gambling bill from Chamberlain. All right, from Representative Chamberlain. Just call him Chamber. Hit enter on my keyboard. Now I've given that bill a nickname, right? So now anytime we're referencing the bill, we don't have to talk about it internally as Senate File 1894. We can just remember that it's the gambling bill from Representative Chamberlain. Awesome. All right, so that's giving the bill a short name. Remember, the steps to do that, once you're in the actual bill details, you've got the drop-down caret icon where the tracking button is. You click there, and you've got the selection to give the bill a short name as your fourth option. All right, now let's talk about marking up the bill. Remember, our goal for this Lunch and Learn is to make this bill our own. It's to kind of customize this bill, make it our own. We've already tracked the bill to let the system know that we want to get reminded or alerted whenever something happens to the bill, a bill action, going from committee to committee, whatever the case may be. We've tagged the bill, which allows us to basically kind of label the bill and let us know and be able to click on that tag or that label to be able to show all of the bills that we've tagged using that specific hashtag. So in this instance, gambling and betting. We've given the bill a short name, right? Whatever our kind of reference shorthand is as we discuss this bill internally or even for yourself. And now we're going to lastly mark up the note. We're going to take a note, mark up this bill, excuse me. We're going to take a note directly on this bill text. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. I've already taken a look at this bill earlier. So I'm going to scroll down to a section that I found to be interesting, which was line 6.16 and 6.17. So I'm going to scroll down here. And I kind of already, looked at this bill and I found something that was interesting that I want to take a note on and mark up. And line 6.16 reads, before beginning operations, each newly licensed sports pool operator must establish a reserve of $25,000 or the amount specified by the commission, whichever is greater. From where I'm sitting as somebody analyzing this bill, I find this to be interesting and could potentially be a point of contention that we may be able to, discuss in a committee hearing, something like that, or maybe I want a colleague to weigh in on. I just know that I want to mark up this bill and take some sort of note. So all I need to do is highlight the two lines here in the bill. A little note icon will appear. I'm going to click there, and I'm going to write a note, and I'm going to write it for myself. Just a little note. If you are used to printing out the bill and writing in the margins, think of it that way, right? If you're used to copying the bill and putting it in a Google Doc, think of it and taking notes that way. This is a much more efficient and effective way to do that. But I just highlighted line 6.16 and 6.17, and I'm going to take my note. 25K in reserves may be a point of contention. Discuss with leadership. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Now, what'll happen is it'll highlight that note for me, or the lines that I took that note. Whenever I come back to this bill, I'll be able to see that. Remember, I've tagged it, I've tracked it, I know that I'm working on this bill. And in addition, if you kind of turn your head over to the right a little bit, you'll see that on the activity tab, right, of the bill details, that it's marked that note for me, right? I can always come back and see, hey, where was this note? What did I say? When did I say it? Right? It's gonna date and time stamp it for me. If I come back to this bill and I want to see where I wrote that note, I can go to the activity tab. I can click on jump to text. It'll scroll me directly down to where I wrote that note. And I can get the context for that note and for that markup. All right. So there's a lot of ways in Enview for you to be able to make a bill yours, to make your work more effective, more efficient. Those are 4 ways. Again, tracking the bill, tagging the bill, giving it a short name, and then of course marking up the bill however you need to for your purposes. That's it for today's Lunch and Learn. Please tune in again next Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be discussing another topic. Have a good one.